So what I'm doing here, I'm just drawing in the overnight highs and lows so we can know what those levels are. And it looks like the overnight lows are way lower than where we are now. Hey, good morning, Jay-Z. So yesterday had this huge sell-off at the end of the day, and on the daily chart you can see what it caused. It made this huge tail on top of this bull bar. So basically the market went up, closed the gap here, and then it failed. It just sold off there. So looking at this chart, is this a bull bar that you want to buy above? I would say no. So there's probably more sellers above this bar selling more higher than there would be buyers. Right, and this is that high, and you can see that we've tried a couple times to go higher and we've failed. So sellers above this have been able to make money. First two bars, bulls were going up. They got above yesterday's high, and then anyone selling above this high, they were able to get a scalp on the third bar. And anyone selling more higher, they were able to make a trade here. They could sell some more higher and then get out with a profit. So that's a way that you can use the daily chart to your advantage. All right, we've been in this big sell-off, and then we get a bull bar with a bad entry. So there's probably going to be sellers above it. We have a wedge here. First push, second push, and third push. And then we got about 8 bars up after that wedge. So far we've been in a trading range. All right, it's one of those days where where the market will go up and down, and it has these big legs, it has these big bars. So to me it's a large bar trading range, which is difficult type of market to trade. Yeah, yeah, and what I'll call these types of days are the large bar trading ranges, because um, I've recognized that when it's a trading range and it's large bars, then it can be difficult to trade. I do notice we have a bit of a triangle shape forming. So this high is lower than this high. Then these lows are higher than in this low. So probably at some point here the market's going to try to break out, but until it does, we really aren't able to do too much. That's right. So I just trade on the day time frame, so from 9:30 to 4:15, and then I exclude the overnight hours. I am able to see the overnight hours on the 2000 tick chart that I have on top here. So this 2000 tick chart just goes 24/7. But on the 5 minute, I just do 9:30 to 4:15. I like doing that because it kind of puts the market in context. Instead of it just continuously running on, then I can see where the open price for the day is, and there's different tricks you can use on that. Like, I know that 50% of the time, any move on the open reverses, no matter how strong it is. So, we've got 6 bars up here, but it doesn't matter that they're up like that. 50% of the time, that move's going to reverse down. I know the open is important. So the open of the 9:30 price is important, and you can see like we tested it here. And normally, if you test the open a couple times, it'll continue to try to test the open throughout the day. So probably if we break down below here, it'll probably come back up and test the open. So I like having that. I like to be able to see the gap between the yesterday's close and today's open. So like here was a low from a prior day, and then this day gapped way down here. And I know that those gaps want to be closed, and then we can see the market close it here. New Credit Life. What do you like to trade? Yeah, that's similar to how I I pretty much just trade the E-mini. Yeah, and I'm definitely working on the Apex as well. I've got the Apex copy trader on. Yeah, Lofta. So I'm not sure if you were in here at the time, but I was talking about yesterday had this big sell off at the end of the day, and what that created on the daily chart was this big tail on top. So in this big sell-off we've had, then after a bull bar with a bad tail on top, Are you going to be buying above that? Probably not. It's probably going to have more sellers that there than buyers. So there's been people selling and selling more higher. And then you can see what the market's done here. They were able to sell above this bar and got a scalp here. Others sold and sold more higher and were able to take profits through this. And that's, you can use the daily chart to advantage that way. So yes, I do have I do have 20 funded accounts. I have a feeling we won't be able to have a trade example today with the 20 accounts. I'm not really seeing a premium trade coming soon in this. So long term, where my uh, if you mean where I usually do a live stream, where do you usually live trade? Not not sure exactly what you mean by your question. Oh yeah, that's what I had thought you meant. So longer term, I uh, will have the stream more on Discord, and Jay Z here, he watches on the Discord, and if you want a reference of what he's learned, then you could ask him. He's on the Discord a lot. Let me send you a link. So here's the Discord. Um, I'll send you guys an invite. So I'm gonna do most of the live streaming on the Discord. And on the Discord we can do a one-on-one session. Because we can talk back and forth. You can ask questions. We can talk about what you're needing, what your goals are. Um, and I'm gonna have other resources and other content on the Discord. So I think that's a good place to to really start learning trading. So market's still, we can see it's respecting the idea of it being in a triangle right now. We kind of have this trend line up at the bottom. It's respecting it. I mean, so what does that really tell us? Are we going to be are we going to be buying off of this? Well, maybe you could if your premise is that the market's not going to go down much lower. You know, I suspect that we're one of these breakouts are gonna work, and then it's gonna go in that direction. So I don't want to just be blindly buying down here or selling up here, risking that breakout. But let's say I thought if it broke below, it wouldn't go much lower, and there'd be buyers down here. Then I'd feel more comfortable, you know, buying at this trend line down here. So I mean, when you see a pattern like this, I mean, what's it really telling you? It's really telling you that the market is just sideways right now, and it's looking for a way to break out. You know, so don't let your don't let yourself be drawn to a bug zapper. You know, like you see a light, you see some, I discovered some pattern, and then don't, you know, just immediately start trading off of that, saying maybe this will work. I mean, really, how I would look at this is, say we're in the middle of a trading range, and we don't want to be taking trades in the middle of a trading range. Link is invalid. Let me see. Try this one. So we just got this large bear bar here. It did not close beyond this range, so it closed above this low here. To me, that means the bears weren't as strong as they could have been. So that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, do you know, just because you have this trend line coming up doesn't mean you should be buying here, because the market's looking for a breakout, and then you don't want to be buying right at the price where it might be breaking down below. So notice how it's kind of touching the 200 moving average there, kind of bouncing off of it. You'll see that a lot. Now that we're below the open of the day, price will probably start respecting the open of the day. So if it comes back up, you'll probably start to see some tails kind of form around the open of the day. So if bears can get a second bar closing down like this, that might show a change in the personality of the day. So where I would draw my measured move is from this high to the open. And then if we're breaking out, then I normally have the range go from the high to the open and then put it down there. But definitely keep in mind about the open price. If we go back up, and if we have the open and the market tests the open here, market will usually tend to continue testing the open throughout the day. So it'll test it, it'll go above it, it'll come back down and test it again. I've not gotten the payout yet. I finished the accounts. I finished passing the evaluations in June, I think. And have not gotten a payout there. My guess would be like by November, I'd be able to get the accounts up enough. I'm kind of like you, where you were saying you wanted to size down, because like the Apex 50K accounts, you can trade up to 4 contracts, but up to 4, you can trade up to. What is it? You can trade up to. You can trade up to 10 contracts. I mean, on the 50K accounts. But the math just doesn't work out trading that large. I mean, you're too likely to blow the account. And like your days have to be less than 30% of the total wins that you've gotten. So you would still need multiple large days like that, and you'd just be risking your account the whole time. So yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable doing 1E mini on them, but I understand that's still all right. That would put it at a higher risk than trading micros. But I think for me, 1E mini is kind of a like to me 1E mini for me is kind of optimizing it. Like it's the best match between speed of getting the payout with also managing the drawdown. Because just based on the types of trades I take, my drawdowns will be consistent enough to where I'm not too likely to lose the account. Hey Lofted, do you normally trade the E-mini or do you trade something else? So the bars the last few days, you know, these is what the last couple of weeks have been like. Very large gaps, very large, very large ranges. The 5 minute bar is larger too. So like this last bar we just had was 13 points. That's not too large, but it's larger than what a typical day like in June might have been, for example. And when you see bars being larger, then you need to trade smaller than what you normally would trade. So if a bar is twice as large, then you need to trade half the size.
Order submitted.
So I'm going to put a limit order at the open here to take a short. And I'm only going to trade with, I'm just really just more of a demonstrating how to take the trade and how to scale in. So if the price gets up here, like I was saying, the open the price will normally react to the open. So it touched it here and it went on. If you start seeing that multiple times, the market usually continues to treat the open with importance. So like the whole day, market will come up, then it'll test down, then it'll go down, and it'll test back up to the open. After two large bars like this, and then a bull bar with a bad signal bar, uh, should be able to sell the open and get a scalp. And if it goes up, I should be able to sell more higher. So when you're taking trades like this limit order scalping, you can take the you can take the trade only if you have several. You only take it if you have several boxes that you can check off. One is that you think there's a high probability that you'll be able to get a scalp out of it. Two, if you're able to scale in. So, right, if you sell here, then you need to think it's reasonable that if you sell more higher, then you would have a pullback deep enough to where you'd be able to get out break even or a profit on your second entry. And then the third, you need to be able to trade small enough to be able to scale in. So whatever your unit is, that would be small enough. You probably need to be trading 20, 30 times smaller than your normal position size to be able to take limit order scalps like this and to scale in. So if you're planning on scaling in, you need to trade about probably 30 times smaller than your normal position size. I've heard people recommend you need to trade 50 times smaller than your normal position size. So if someone normally trades with 10 E-minis, then that means they'd only be trading 2 micros. So they'd short here with 2 micros, then scale in with 2 more micros somewhere up here. So you need to have a high probability of making the scalp. You need to be able to scale in and have reasons that scaling in would work, right? You don't want to be selling here if there's a decent chance that there's going to be a breakout up. It's kind of like I was talking about with this trend line we were seeing up. Just because you're seeing that doesn't mean you should buy at it, because to me, what I was seeing, the market was starting to contract here in this triangle and was looking for a place to break out. And so I don't want to be buying here expecting that the market will have more down. I'm only going to take scalps like this if I'm expecting that I'll either win initially or it won't go very far and I can scale in. Then the third is you need to be able to trade small enough to be able to do it. If you trade too large, then your risk is too large. You're not going to be able to manage the trade without emotion. I'll go ahead and remove my
Order
order.
canceled.
Going down here. So this is the first special move I would use from the high to the open. That puts us down here. And so now I would say, that we are breaking out of this trading range. What could happen is we come down here, trading range forms down here. Price I want to look at is also the 50% pullback of yesterday's range. So this is yesterday's range, and 50% pullback puts us here. Now I'm doing that because look at the daily chart. So if we got the daily chart, if we're pulling back, if we broke out above, we're pulling back. 50% of that would probably be a level of support there at the pullback of yesterday's range. So, as we're going down, that's kind of just looking for a spot where there might be some buyers. So this was a large bear bar. It was 23 points down. It's probably going to be a little bit more down from this. We'll probably get a small, at least a little bit more selling after this bar. There is a wedge forming. First push, second push, third push. So if we get a bull bar here like this, I think bears would get out above it, but it's not good enough for me to buy. Let's say bears are just shorting through here and they're holding short. I think after this wedge, they'd probably want to get out if a bar closes good like this. But they would be selling again below a bear bar. So if they get out above this, they would sell again below a bear bar. But for me, as someone that's still on the sidelines, I wouldn't want to be buying above this bar because I think there's a decent chance we can still go down. Hey, good afternoon, Gehenna. I'm doing good. We were trying to get a trade earlier up here. Wasn't able to get filled. Now we've got a couple targets on the downside here. The morning was the first half of the day was a trading range. So we're not expecting this to really go all that far. We're not expecting this to become just a big bear trend for the rest of the day. I'm thinking the open is going to be an important price. And I'm saying that because whenever you see the open be tested like it was here, and this is close. This could be counted as a test. Whenever you see it being tested multiple times, the open tends to be an important price. So um, like let's say we trended down here. In the last hour, might make an attempt to rally back up to the open price. So 3 pushes down forms this wedge here, and I think this bull bar, I was talking about bears would get out above a bull bar. I think this bull bar, I think this is throwing some confusion into it. Yeah, I mean that's an idea to do that. It's so what I'm seeing here, there's kind of conflicting evidence. So we do have this wedge, which is more of a reversal pattern, but then we also have this gap. So this low and this low, this high did not overlap, which is a bearish sign. To me, really, I'm seeing more trading range price action. We got a couple bear bars down here, but then 2 bull bars. Got a strong bear bar, but then look, we got a bull bar that had a decent amount of buying and got all the way up here. Uh, so on a funded Apex account, I do one E-mini. So I'll use this is the copy trader. You can see my ratios I normally use. So I would use like 5 E-minis on my personal account, and then I would use one E-mini on all the PA accounts. But I don't take too many. I'm not just taking like any trade I see with that. I'm really only taking the best trades. So I might do like 2 or 3 a week using the funded accounts. I'm really only looking to take the best trades with them. Yeah, I mean, if you're if you're blowing those accounts, then if you're blowing those accounts, then my advice would either be to trade smaller and be more selective, or just maybe don't do the funding, don't try to do funding accounts at all. Just trade your personal account, and just trade one micro on your personal account. So good looking bull bar here. I do just feel like trading range here. It's kind of confusing. We have a lot of overlapping bars. So if you just look at this here, we've had a trend down for an hour now. There has been some fairly strong selling in here. Whenever there's been a trend, I always try to look at the last close, the farthest close in the trend. So that'd be this close here. It's the lowest in the bear trend. And I watch the tails to see how it reacts around this price. So let's say you were selling here, sold its close. It didn't go down, but what a lot of traders will do is they'll sell more higher. So maybe they'll just sell 5 or 10 points higher, or they'll sell based on 50% pullback like this. So they'll sell here at the close, then they'll sell more higher at this 50% pullback, which is probably why this tail is right there like that. It went right up to the 50%, and then there were a lot of sell orders there, and then it pulled back. So what some bears did is they sold more higher here, and they just got out break even on the trade. They didn't hold it, so it would come back down here and get them out with a profit. So now we want to see, as bears have sold higher up here, are they able to get out on a profit on their whole trade, or are they going to be, feeling trapped and it's going to head up? So my best setup, it's um, that's usually the videos that I make trades on. So I made a video on this trade. So we're in a bull trend, and I'm feeling like there's going to be a breakout up here. Then I got a good signal bar here. You can see how the bulls are kind of gaining strength here. Bears keep trying to sell, keep making these tails in the bottom, and so either. So really, we have two good trades here. So if you look here, so I bought here, and it got all the way up here, and I managed it just. So by the way, the apartment pool is still being worked on. So yeah, it's still being worked on in August. So they've not opened it yet, even in August. So, but bought here, managed it just. You can see I managed it just one tick too far, and it stopped me out there. So, but I still got 2 points out of that, and that was on my personal and on the copy accounts. But bought there, I was planning for 10 points, which I would have gotten right up here. So I like that. Bulls, again, bears are failing. The bulls have a decent chance at a breakout. We got a good bull signal bar. Then also I like to sell once we got below the moving average here, so we got this strong bear leg. We got a wedge here, and now we're starting to hold below the moving average. So I would also like to sell below these bars here. That'd be a good sell. So those are kind of the two trades I'm looking at the most. So we're starting to get up into a sell zone. We have the high of this large bear body. We have the moving average. We have the open of the day. Like, there's probably going to be more sellers than buyers in this area. Gehenna, I don't think you were in the room at the time. When I was talking about the daily chart. Look at the big tail on top of this daily chart on the daily bar. So after all this selling, and then we get a bad looking bull bar. You know, there's not going to be many buyers above that bar. There's going to be more sellers. And so this is that high. And you can see people sold here. They were able to get a scalp here, or they sold more higher and they made money here or money here. So that's how you can use the daily daily bar to your advantage. Yeah, so I always review the daily before getting started on the 5 minute chart. So since we're getting up into the sell zone,
Order submitted.
go ahead and place an order here. Just do one micro, and plan to scale in higher as needed. I would not expect today to be a large large bull day. After these 2 days here with bad tails on top. So this is the NASDAQ chart. So you're talking about trend line there. You see a break. You're looking for it to come down here to be able to buy down here. Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable. I mean, I think if it does get lower down here, larger context is that we're in more of a trading range day, so I think buying setups like lower here and what would be the larger range would be fine. So as the bulls are going up here, they're not really getting great follow through. 2 bars up, bear bar, strong looking bar up, and then a bear doji. So they're getting bad follow through as they go up. So I go for 5 points. So 21, 21.75. That's my usual. That's my usual like limit order scalp price. Sometimes I'll do 2.5 points, but I wouldn't go much less than that. Yeah, but like I said, I do plan on scaling it higher if as needed. The minimum scalp was when the E-mini was like 2,000 points. The minimum scalp was about 2 points. So people that are taking limit order scalps, when back um, was 5 or 10 years ago when the E-mini was 2,000, then the minimum scalp would have been 2 points. So now that the E-mini's over 5,000, then your minimum scalp should be 5 points. So that's why I choose 5 points. So that profit is enough to offset that the ratios of the risk and your probability. Because if your profit target's too small, then you can't have a large enough probability for it to work out. If you're just going for 1 point, you will win a lot, but you'd have to win so often, like 95% of the time, more than 95% of the time if you're trading with like 1 point, going for 1 point. Because some of your trades, you're going to lose. If you're scaling in, you might lose 20 or more points. So basically, for every $1,000 in the E-mini, for every $1,000 that the price of the S&P is, then you need to trade one contract for that. Your profit needs to be one contract for that, at a minimum. Like I said, though, sometimes I go for 2.5 points if the range is smaller. If the bars just aren't very large, then I might do 2.5 points. Hey, good afternoon, John. John, if you have any questions, just let me know. So we had this range appear at the start of the day. Right, we had legs up and legs down. And this was a trading range. We broke out below the trading range here. Didn't quite get to a measured move of the opening range. But now we're still getting trading range price action. We had a couple bear bars here, but then 2 bull bars, so bad follow through. Large bar here, but no follow through. We just got bull bars. And then for the bull bars, we got bad follow through. There were bear bars following these bull bars. So I do think the open is going to continue to be an important price the rest of the day. We opened here, market tested it here, broke out, and it got close here. You count that as a test on that pullback. And when you see it test it multiple times like that, it tends to continue to test it. Let's see if I can find an example. We haven't really had a day like that too recently. Okay, so here's a good example. This day, we opened here, and then just draw a line in there. Opened it, tested it here, broke out, tested it here, tested it here and here and here, and then at the end of the day, it rallied back up to test it. So when you see the market test in the open multiple times, you can expect that it will continue to try to test it. When it's testing it like that multiple times, it means that the open's a good price, because it tries to get away from that price, and the sellers overwhelm the buyers, tries to go below it, and the buyers overwhelm the sellers. This is the crude oil chart. You can see we've been in this downtrend in July. So, but then the last 2 days has actually been fairly bullish. From this low price down here, we're actually $4 higher on oil. Gold is in this big trading range. Right in the middle of this big trading range. All right. So
Order canceled.
remove the order there. Does not look like it's going to get filled. So we have a possible double top here with this high and then these highs. Something like that. That high and then these highs. Bears that sold this close, they're looking for places to scale in higher. And this will be one bar that they sell below to try to scale in. So they sold here. They're selling more higher, hoping to be able to get out, at least break even. So, you want to see how the market reacts around this level here. Because if it's not able to get back to here, that means probably a lot of bears are going to be trapped. So a lot of overlapping bars in here. After this bar, I was saying we'd probably be in a trading range in this area. We had a trading range to start the open of the day. And then we went almost the measured move down. And then, looking like we're going to have a trading range, like a lower trading range here. So now, bears that sold this close, they sold below this bear bar. And so they were able to get out break even if they were doing that. Now we'll see, are they able to get the market down here? Like how confident are the bears? Are they only confident enough that they'll be able to get out break even, or are they confident enough that they can make a profit on their whole trade and they'll hold till down here? So some people would buy at this close because they're expecting the bears to get out of their shorts there. So some people would buy at that close there. Right, so we can see that so the bears will be able to make profit. So that shows some degree of strength on the bears' part, that they were able to sell and to sit through this and still be able to still make money. As for buying, I think people could buy below this low here, but I personally am not going to do that. if we're starting to, like I said, we were expecting a trading range here, but we had a double top, couple good bear bars. There's a chance we might be going lower, going down to like this close here as a target. I had the 50% pullback of yesterday somewhere at this. So this line is the 50% pullback from yesterday. So the daily chart, this is yesterday's range, so here, and then 50% pullback of that, there'd probably be some buyers around there, and that's what that is. So to me, it looks like we're going. There's a decent chance we're going lower, and so if I know we're going lower, then I don't want to be buying and scaling in. But if I was going to buy below this bar, then you need to trade very small, and you need to be able to scale in. So, buy here, maybe buy more above a bull bar that forms somewhere over here. Buy at this target here. Buy at the close of yesterday. But to do that, you have to be holding this for 30, 40 points. So, it's not going to be for everyone to be able to do that. So bears are testing the measured move down. So from this opening range, the measured move puts us here. Bears are testing that now. I have I have two EMAs. I have the 20 EMA and the 200. the 200, 200, you can see how often the market will run up to it and test it. You know, it was coming down, tested it here. So it just reacts. It just reacts like this to it all the time. As the market's going down, another measure move I like to draw in is of this pullback. So that puts us right at the 50% pullback of yesterday as well. I'll go ahead and remove that. So we still have a minute left on this bar. You know, if this gets another good close, then we could expect a little bit more down after this, after having 4 good bear bars. $5,300. You can see we tested it here. Now we've broken out below it. Market might want to come back up and test this 5,300 price. But I still think we're going to have more lower after this. After these four good looking bear bars. Well, this fourth one could have been better. But after four large bear bodies like this, then probably this first little pullback will be sold. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you for joining me today. Hope I was able to help you guys out and hope you learned some. Not expecting to have a stream Thursday or Friday, but I'll send out trade updates on the Discord. So, be watched on the Discord, especially in the morning. So if I see something, I'll send out those trade updates and try to help you guys out. All right, you guys have a good rest of your day.